Are you looking for more out of your life? Do you need ideas on how to start new businesses and how to move forward in your own personal life? Well, guess what? You have come to the right radio show. At You Can Overcome Anything podcast show, you will learn and hear from many people from all walks of life who are sharing their challenges, their stories, the habits, and the mind shifts they had to overcome to become who they are today. On top, you will get a chance to connect and see how you can overcome anything by networking and learning about your next move through this radio show. I present to you our great speakers at You Can Overcome Anything podcast show with your host, Cesar Espino. Hello there, and welcome back to another episode of You Can Overcome Anything podcast show. It is your host, Cesar Espino, and today I have a special guest. Her name is Jane Haridat. Before we get started, I want to give you a little bit of her background, and then we can dive into this interview. Jane, embracing your sexuality is embracing your true self. That's Jane's message to you. Jane is a passionate teacher, healer of sacred sexuality and soul embodiment. She is the writer of the book Make Peace to Your Origin, My True Value as a Woman. She's a motivational speaker and a powerful multi-dimensional medium who uses her psychic gifts to make the real roots of problems visible, tangible, and practical to handle for her clients. She helped thousands of women and men worldwide discover who they truly are and live a happy, soulful, and successful life. No need to mention their love life improves as well. She's born in Surinam, has ancestral lines in India, lives in the Netherlands, and is deeply connected to Hawaii. She offers soul programs for couples, singles, and groups, and profound spiritual retreats to Hawaii. Wow, Jane, you definitely have a lot of things going on. So definitely excited to have you here. Welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm fine. I'm in Hawaii, so
Nice.
otherwise, I'm in paradise. Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
definitely. I never been to Hawaii. I've never been to Hawaii. I need to make it out one of these days.
Yeah, you have to come here, or just go with a retreat with me.
You know what? I might have to look into that too, for sure.
Magical experience.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, Jane, tell me a little bit about your upbringing and where are you originally from, and what is your upbringing?
Yeah, my ancestral lines are coming from India, and my ancestors were being brought to Suriname, and Suriname is South America. So
Yep.
we are all in the Americas, right? So it's
Yep.
near Brazil, near Venezuela as well, and I'm born there.
Okay.
And I live in the Netherlands, and I'm deeply connected to Hawaii. And
Well, you're all over the place.
yeah, I'm all over the place. Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And I come from a family of 8 brothers and 3 sisters. So I come from a family of 12, and I'm the youngest one.
Wow.
And yeah, it is, and it has been. I'm the youngest one at this moment. I lost 3 brothers and 1 sister in just 2 years time, and
Wow.
we are only with 3 of us left. So being the youngest, of the family is good, but it's also confronting because it is challenging in the sense that you're seeing all your brothers and sisters leave this planet. And and my mother and father, they were both having a Hindu background, but we never practiced Hinduism, and that is one thing important to mention, is that we were being baptized a Roman Catholic.
Okay.
So there are different identities going on.
Yeah, right, for sure. I mean, wouldn't that be you just maybe talking about that for a little bit? Isn't that I mean, how is that, right? Because obviously, for the most part, many Indian ancestors is all Hinduism, right? And then
Yeah.
to go into that other religion was that difficult or by any
Yes.
means, or
Yeah, I was.
acceptance?
Yeah. Sorry. I'm so enthusiastic just to tell my story.
Yeah,
Cesar.
yeah.
Yeah, it is. It was difficult in the sense of, it has its consequences because we were raised Roman Catholic, and my father, he always told us 2 religions cannot sleep on the same pillow.
Mm.
So we are Roman Catholic, and we are not allowed to practice Hinduism. But my ancestral lines are coming from India. So I grew up in that environment. Not, yeah, I didn't really miss it when I was younger, but developing, doing on personal development, and the roots were calling inside of me. They were calling. So because I was with all other people, I spoke the language, but it wasn't that well, it wasn't that good as other Hindu people did. And so it took me and all my brothers and sisters also, it took us a lot of effort just to feel ourselves comfortable between other Hindu people. Because they had their own habits, they had their own, they lived according to the Hindu philosophy, and we didn't. So yeah, and that's something, and the religion as well. It was all calling. The inner calling was always there, just to return to the roots, to return. And later on, when I was having my personal developments, I got in contact with the god Shiva, the Hindu god, and all these goddesses and gods started to come to me, as well as archangels. So they were coming to me and inviting me, just to discover that part of my roots, just to not feel the lack anymore, but just to be fulfilled as it should be, right?
Right. Yeah, no, definitely. So definitely growing, obviously that's part of, your growing, and how that could have also been a bit difficult for you. Tell me, obviously one of the major things you had to deal with was, experiencing a lot of violence and sexual abuse.
Mhm.
At what age did that happen, or how was that for you growing up?
Yeah, it has been, the thing is that if you live in a family, and I'm not accusing my family, because
Mhm.
I later on I started to understand, what was happening, and I was able just to bring all my events to a soul level experience, and just to understand things differently, and to look at things from a different perspective.
Mhm.
So that is it's important just to mention that, because I don't feel myself a victim anymore. I went through the victimization, and it was hard, just yet returning to that part, of my upbringing. It was very hard, because most of the people knew what was happening, but I didn't got the protection. I didn't got the protection, just that somebody stood up for me. And it was one of my brothers, and it was difficult. It was very difficult, just to be in a family situation where that things were happening. There was a lot of violence. We weren't allowed just to speak up, especially not as a woman. We weren't allowed just to speak up, or to value ourselves as women. So talking about that part of my life, it was difficult. It was difficult, but yet, and I want to repeat it, it has been my life university to
Yeah.
that brought me to the person that I am right now, and that I can help others to discover the sacredness of sexuality.
Yeah, right. And one of the things that I think too is, a lot of times we, when we're looking at certain things, right?
It's not to make, but I need to do this because it's hard to do. Mhm. Yeah,
So
sorry.
one of the things, yeah, no, that's good though. One of the things that I always tell people is that sometimes from a pain, right? You went through some experiences,
Mhm.
a purpose is born, right?
Mhm.
And
Yes.
so that's exactly what's going on here. Definitely, you see that, and it's like, well, we have to realize we're going through something, and that something sometimes will help us discover something that is going to help us in our journey, which is exactly what's going on with you, right?
Yeah, that's why, and yeah, it happened. Yeah, it has a meaning. It had to happen. So I
Right.
know, no, nobody, maybe people will not agree, but in my case, I just see it as my earthly university,
Okay.
which taught me the way, which brought me to spirituality, which brought me to know and to discover my true value as a soul, as a woman.
Yeah.
And from there, going through all the experiences, being able by experience to help others perfectly well, to heal. And it's beautiful just to be able to do it.
Yeah, right. So at which point, so you were born in Suriname. When did you move out of there to go to the Netherlands? When had that happen?
Yeah, it happened at the age of 14. I was 14 years old, and I'm 64 now.
Ah, nice. Yeah, yeah. So how was that? What was the what was the reason for you guys to move away from your home country?
Yeah, the reason that I moved from my home country, I had a brother, the brother, another brother, it wasn't the brother that abused me, who
Hmm.
he moved to the Netherlands, and he always wanted me, just to move to the Netherlands, just to have a good education. Because
Mm,
Suriname was a different country. It's a
yeah.
third world country, and the education was different. But at the end, I wrote him because the brother who was abusing me, even when he was married, he didn't let me go. He was still, the abuse went on and on. So there was a point that I came I thought, I'm going to commit suicide right now. Either my brother of the Netherlands, Leo, is going to bring me to the Netherlands, or I will commit suicide because this is unbearable. So
Hmm.
that was the moment that my brother, and he didn't know what was happening, but
Hmm.
because he had already had made his decision to bring me to the Netherlands for education, he jumped in and he brought me to the Netherlands. So that was the main reason for me
Got you.
to,
So
to
it definitely, in a sense, it was a life savior too
yes,
from that
yeah,
abuse
yeah,
and all of that.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Got
yeah.
you. Did anybody in your family knew that you were going through that sexual abuse or abuse going
Most of
on?
them, most of them, most of them, but they didn't dare to stood up. And just, coming from a family where it's not allowed, sexuality is something bad, and this is the way we are being raised. Most, and a lot of people are being raised, right, with shame, guilt, and judgment on it. So it was something bad, and it is, of course, a huge shame within the family just to recognize that this is happening. So
Yeah.
we weren't allowed even to use the word sexuality. And then can you imagine if that's all bad? If there's it's some kind of dark energies, then you're not allowed to speak up.
Mm, yeah.
So no, I miss the basic safety that a child needed, just to
Right.
feel safe and to feel carried and to be protected. I missed it. I didn't know for many years what it was because no one stood up for me. And I
Yeah.
don't feel myself a victim, okay? So, but these are all the processes I had to go through just to teach myself to feel safe within me, in myself, to
Right.
discover the safety within me, in my body, in my sexuality, in my womanhood.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me ask you this: like, definitely you dealt with it. You ended up moving to the Netherlands. Like, there was a lot of restrictions. There was a lot of different things taking place. Obviously, like you said, there was those words couldn't be utilized in your house. um you couldn't really talk about it, right? So there was definitely, just by itself already, the dynamics was giving you so many different restrictions in
Yeah.
terms of what was taking place. What would you say if you were to go back and talk to your younger self now? What would be
Mhm.
your advice uh to yourself if you were going through that, like to try to get out of that and figure out a different mean? Because obviously you're confined to your environment, the beliefs, and all of
Mhm.
these different things. And obviously now that you've gone through it and you learn from that and you know what went through, what would be your advice for somebody, your younger self, or somebody that might be going through something similar, in a case like that?
Yeah, I would tell my younger self, oh my goodness, I recognize what you're going through, and I'm here for you.
Mm,
I'm totally here for you, totally protect you, and know that you're always protected by me. And
yeah,
you've done a great work, and you were very courageous just to take this lesson on planet Earth, because that's something that's very important too. You were courageous. And at that time, it wasn't your fault. It wasn't something that you um, caused, because that's the craziness of sexual abuse and all the fires going on and all the things happening mostly with women. But in cases I work with men too who
mm-hmm,
have abused. But mostly in the case of women, people think that you're a slut. Even when you're at the age of 5 or 6 or 7 years old, you caused it. And that's something very stupid.
Yeah, that's great. Even to think about that, that's
Crazy.
crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy to
But
think
that's
about.
the way it works in the world, right? So I would tell her, yeah, it wasn't your fault. You didn't cause it. So you're safe with me. You're safe with me, and I'm giving you all the love and protection.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and I see you.
Yeah, and you said something very important there, and I want people to take note of that. And this is not just in sexual abuse or any of that stuff, really anything that's happening to you, in my opinion, you said it very well. It is not your fault because a lot of times we tend to take we tend to blame ourselves that well, this is happening because of me, or my parents don't want to hug me or don't give me any affection because there's something wrong with me, or that boy or that girl doesn't want to be with me because of something of me. And at the end of the day, that is not you. It's not your fault. It's not your fault that you were verbally abused or sexually abused or there was some sort of violence or you lost your job. It wasn't your fault. Except what we got to be able to recognize, though, it wasn't your fault. It is your responsibility, though, to do
Exactly.
something about it.
Exactly, exactly. It wasn't your fault, but it is your responsibility because the role of the parents and all the siblings is fulfilled. It's gone. It's your responsibility to take total lead of all your action, and take responsibility over your own life, over your emotions, your thoughts, everything.
Right.
And be the creator. If we tell ourselves that we are the creator, then let's be the creator and recognize what we are creating.
Right. Yeah. So let me ask you this. Obviously, and I agree with all of that. Now, somebody might be asking, well, okay, fine. It's not my fault. I want to take responsibility, except I don't know how. I don't know what I need to do next. What were some of the things? Obviously, you went to the Netherlands, and that kind of helped you in essence. But there's still that mental memories or the things that happened to you. I mean, yeah, you were physically separated from the abuse,
Yeah.
except you still have all of these things in your mind, and
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 also
this
in the body
this
as well.
traumas, the emotion and the trauma, right?
Yeah,
How
and
do
in
you
the
deal?
body.
How did you end up dealing with that as the years went by?
Just by recognizing, I would, I didn't, because a lot of things were happening in my family. I almost took it as something that was normal.
Mm,
That has been later on when I moved to the Netherlands and I started to talk with other people. Then I started to recognize and to admit that it wasn't something normal. It was something unusual. It's something that shouldn't happen. And the moment that I had a lot of problems at my work. I
mhm,
didn't feel I didn't feel happy in my marriage. I didn't enjoy sex. All these kind of things. All the signs were coming up, and
mhm,
I started, and I felt really stuck in all levels of my being. I was angry, and I had
mhm,
swallowed a lot of emotions. I felt angry. I didn't feel any power at all. The moment that somebody was saying something nasty to me, I felt paralyzed. I couldn't speak up because
mhm,
that's what's happening. That's what's happening. If you're going through all these kind of things, abuse, then you're swallowing all your emotions, and swallowing your emotions, if you don't express it, it is paralyzing. And it doesn't matter if it's abuse or some different kind of event, painful event. The moment that you swallow your emotions, you're getting paralyzed.
mhm,
That's why we need to speak up. And what I did also, I started to speak up. I started to do therapy. I started to work on my body because all the pain, everything was stored in my body as all the memories. So I started step by step to recognize with the help of others, but also the further I developed myself, I could help myself too by recognizing what was happening with me. So it is very important to recognize what's happening with you and read about it. Of course, they can call me Caesar. I'm here for them to help. I work internationally. But if you read a smaller step, then start to read about it. Start to read what abuse or violence is doing to your body, mind, spirit, and to your health, to your relationships, how it impacts your relationships, how it impacts your work, because one thing that I also discovered is that how abuse impacted my whole business, my blogs on money. It is immense. That is always something that I try to teach people is don't underestimate the impact of abuse, because the subconscious level has stored all the pain, and it's 95%. You know, it had stored all the pain over there, and without you recognizing, it is triggering. It uses, you know, all the triggers you are feeling, and it's impacting all the things. You know, it impacts your money, the cash flow, it impacts your relationships, it impacts the way you behave in your sexuality, in your womanhood, in your manhood, your relationships with your siblings, everything. All impacts all layers of your life.
Right.
It's a very break answer, but I hope.
No,
that,
yeah.
yeah, I hope
No,
that.
and to add to that, I mean, again, when we look at the aspect of that, I mean, any emotion for that matter, you know, there's the I said I would say positive emotions or good emotions that are going to help you even be at a higher game, and you're actually performing better. When you're down, maybe you went through a breakup, maybe you went through sexual abuse or any kind of traumatic aspect, it's gonna affect many levels in your life. And so we gotta be able to recognize that. And so that's one thing that I tell people. Again, what happens between the ages of 0 and 7 are so critical, because we are a sponge. We're getting all of that. And then, you know, as the years go by and we get older, we tend to kind of forget about those things. We forget about it on the conscious level. As you mentioned, though, on the unconscious level, though, it's still sitting there, still stored there. So unless you go back and work on those things and start dealing with those traumas and those elements that took place in your early ages, they will show up down the line. I know that for a fact, because I've been through that myself. There was things that I was in my 30s, and I'm like, you know, where did this come from? And then I started doing some inner work, and it was because of my childhood, right? And so definitely everybody that has gone through something, if you know you were going through something or you went through something and you haven't done any kind of work, you definitely want to look out and find someone to help you with that, right?
Yeah, and you know, the most thing is something that I would like to share with people to know that it is a tough way, but it is so worth it. It is so worth it just to work on it, and to know that because the ultimate goal of our sexuality is to return to our self-love, self-recognition, and self-acceptance. And if you can keep that as a goal in your mind, then you know what you are working towards to.
Wow. Yeah.
It's all about you. It's not about somebody else. It's all about you. So working on your all events in life, you know, in this case is abuse and violence and all these kind of things. It is almost, I just say it's an obligation towards yourself, because it's returning you. It is returning you to your self-love.
Yeah.
And if you love yourself, then you will do a business in a different way, right? You will be more self-confident and more convinced about your own doing and what you have to offer to the world.
Right.
Being more connected with your own service, being more connected with yourself. And I truly believe that the world needs healing. They need healing. We all need healing from concerning our sexuality, just to raise the awareness, to bring it to a different level, and to know that the energy that helps us to be created, to be conceived, is our own power within, that we can use deliberately, you know, competence, deliberately just use it to create and manifest our own life, the beautiful life that we all want.
Yeah.
And if we stay stuck in all the negativity and emotions and old pain and grief, these are the blocks that are preventing us to have that miraculous life that we all want.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Um, Tell me if you can elaborate more on this. Obviously, you've gone through a lot, you know, specifically when you're talking about the experiences within your own household, right? And I just really love the positive statement that I'm about to share. And I want you to kind of go more deep into that message, because I think it's a very powerful message. You said that all experiences have their lessons in helping us step by
Yes.
step to embodying our soul. There is never a loss, only a gain. Our worst things, our worst things help us discover what we have to offer to the world. It is our gift. For
Yes.
somebody to really see that, I'm like, no, like people are gonna be saying right now, like, no, something bad is bad and it's not gonna help me. How can that be positive? How can that give me a gift, right? And so tell me more about it. Go deeper on that message, because I think it's very powerful, and I totally agree with you on that. And so tell me more about that.
Yeah, just if you want to stay, very simple, if you want to stay in your anger, if you want to stay in your greed and accuse other people, you will remain in your victim state.
Mm,
And victim state is contracting. It's contracting everything. It's contracting the body, relationship, your whole life. The moment that you are able to see the lesson in it, to see, okay, and just in my case, you know, I I had to go through hell just to find the safety within me, because knowing that my father, mother, and my brothers and sisters, they weren't there for me, so I can remain and accuse them, you know, and get sick at the end because they weren't there for me. And so that means that I'm holding on to the inner child's pain. And if I want to have a grown-up life and be happy, nobody can heal the inner child. That's why it is called inner child. Nobody can heal the inner child. It's only me that I could heal my own inner child. And that's the same thing with everyone.
hmm
We are the only ones that can heal the inner child. And the inner child is helping you. What is important to know is that all these lessons, the inner child got hurt. And just listening to the inner child, to listen to the grief, listen to the pain, just to be there for the inner child means being there for yourself. And the inner child taught me what the lessons were. And the moment that I was able to listen to the inner child, then I discovered, oh my God, I can be there for myself. My inner child is not feeling safe. She is contracting. She is angry. She is so afraid of everything that, okay, I need to give my inner child love and assure her of the safety. And that increases all the love, my self-love. I started to discover myself. I started to recognize myself. And then I started to get rid of the illusion that somebody else can heal me,
hmm
because that's, and that I need somebody else to love me or to recognize me and to accept me,
mm.
because that is the prison, keeping myself in a prison. So it helped to become independent in my emotions. Does this answer helps?
Yeah, no, definitely, for sure. Yeah, no, it does a lot. And again, a lot of times we forget to find that inner love, and really just, we're so codependent sometimes of other people, but really it's
Exactly,
just
that's
you.
the word. And that's the word. So if we keep on our anger and all these things, and accusing family, we stay in the codependency. And it's
Mhm.
not only towards family, it's towards everybody we meet in our life.
Right. Yeah,
Either
for
in a
sure.
love relationship or in a work related relationship, it stays there. So
Yeah.
the inner child, I always say the inner child is your portal to heaven. It's your
Mm.
portal to solve everything in your life. It's
Yeah.
your portal to your happiness.
Right. Yeah.
And it's called inner child, Caesar.
Yeah. It's right. Exactly. You're right.
Within us,
Yeah,
right?
it's within us. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure. So make peace to your origin, my true value as a woman. Tell me, what was the reason behind one writing that book?
Mhm.
What can people expect of getting that book, and then how did you come up with the title?
Yeah, the title, it is a beautiful story. It was 16 November 2020. I was busy with the client session, and she
hmm
hard for just to recognize her background is an Indonesian woman. And I was working with her just to
Mm-hmm.
get her accepted. She lives in the Netherlands, so she wanted to be white. She was
Mm-hmm.
refusing. She was refusing because it was too painful. She
Yeah.
didn't want to recognize because she had also a painful background. So she was avoiding it. She was rejecting it. And I was doing this session with her when I heard the voice of the universe coming in and telling me precisely, just exactly, write a book. And then I thought, okay, write a book. The title is Make Peace to Your Origin. And later on, when I started to write the book, you know, of course, I hired a coach and I started to write the book. Then I discovered it was all about making peace to your human origin. Because the earthly origin, with all the events, making peace with all the events happening in your life, and make the worst things become your greatest gifts. That is the core message of the book. And in that book, I'm giving it comes with a workbook and a guided meditation. And I'm showing people how I did it, and I'm offering assignments, you know, just to help them.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's huge. That's huge. So, tell me, what are some of the things that you're doing right now? Obviously, you're helping men and women, right?
Mhm.
What is your primary practice, and how are you able to help other people that might have gone through some traumatic events?
Yeah. It is hot here, people. So if you're watching this, it's not because I'm nervous. It is Hawaii, and it is 8 a.m. It's hot here.
Yeah,
I
you know,
closed
I
all the
wish I
windows.
could be there for sure. You know.
I closed all the windows, you know, because of the sounds.
Oh
Just
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah,
it's
yeah.
hot here, and also the AC. I shut. I put it off. Okay. What I'm doing right now is I'm helping people. So was that your question?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. What I'm doing right now is worldwide, I'm giving online programs to help people to open up their heart, because that's something that's for most people want to have a soulful life. But you cannot connect with your soul if your heart is closed. And our heart starts to close at a very early age, and we get a lot of messages, you know, in our upbringing. So it's so, but most of us, we don't realize it. So what I'm doing, so one of the main things that I'm doing right now is to help people open up their heart. The moment that they are able to open up their heart, they get connected to the soul. That's why soul embodiment. Then you can be connected
Mm-hmm.
in your soul. And I'm doing retreats. I'm here just to prepare the next retreat to Hawaii, to help people return in their essence by working on the sexuality. Um, I'm doing a lot of coaching to help people recognize who they are, who they truly are, to discover their essence and work on the sexuality relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You have a lot going on for sure.
you name it,
So,
you name it.
how many days is your retreats?
Sorry.
How many days are the retreats?
The retreats are, it is a package of 2 weeks.
Okay.
So it's a package of 2 weeks, and before we leave for Hawaii, people get prepared online or offline, you know, where you live, you know, they get prepared on the retreat, and then it's a 10 days retreat on Hawaii, and after you're returning to your country, you're getting a follow-up. So that's the package of 14 days.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, got it. So if people want to learn more about your retreats, your coaching, or just really want to connect with you, or even find your book, how can they connect with you? Where can they find you?
They can find me on www.janeharidat.com.
Okay.
And it is still, the website is being translated, but I also, you know, just on the homepage, you can find a link where you can connect with me in English.
Okay.
And people can just plan a 30 minutes free call with me on Calendly, just to connect and to know more about the programs. And on the agenda, there is already a program to heal the broken heart, especially made for entrepreneurs. And it will start on the 8th of April online.
Got it. Got it. Got it. No, that's good. So we'll definitely have also that on the show notes. In terms of, obviously you gone through a lot and you're doing a whole lot. I want to know, what are some of your daily practices? What are some of the things that you do on a day-to-day basis to keep you on a positive state of mind?
Meditate.
Okay.
Meditate, and 24/7, really 24/7, even when I wake up just to go to the toilet, I am aware of what I'm thinking. That's something
Mm,
that I learned, I taught myself. Be aware what I'm thinking. Is this thought, you know, energizing me, or is it bringing me down? So what is my thinking? Just be aware of my thinking. That's a practice that I'm doing 24/7. And meditating, walking in nature, yeah, just to be fair, connected with myself.
yeah.
Just be aware of what I think, what I feel, what I do, and that's very important.
Yeah. Let's tell me about that. That's actually pretty awesome. So you're thinking of your thoughts. Is it energizing you or not, right?
Yeah,
If that thought is not energizing you or is not serving you, then what do you do? How do you turn it off?
change it, change, because you can immediately feel in your body the impact of the thought. And
Okay.
then I talk with myself. I talk a lot with myself, either loud or in silence. Okay, Jane, come on, change it, change it. It's very easy. My clients notice this movement. I always like to do this. Change it, change it. You know,
Right.
if thought is not serving you, why should you choose to stuck in the
Right.
same time?
So you
Change
just change it and start thinking of
it.
something more
Yeah,
positive or whatever. Even
yeah,
if,
yeah.
even if it's people might be saying, well, what about if it's something that is bothering me, or I just lost my job and I don't know how I'm gonna pay my bills, or I that my boyfriend, girlfriend, my wife, whatever, left me, and I'm going through this, and because those thoughts can come, right? And so even
Yeah.
in situations like that, just start thinking about something else, change it.
I can change it easily because I worked on my emotions. I worked
Right.
on the pain. I did a lot of healing work. Then it
Gotcha.
becomes easy to change it. But it is not happening. You know, it can happen if you're stuck in your pain. It's difficult to change your thoughts
Hmm.
because these are the thoughts that are determining your emotions, right? So
Gotcha.
you need to work on the pain. You need to go through again. All the pain is being caused or stored by the inner child. So
So
just give, if you need to cry or you need to scream, do it, because the body needs to release the emotions. The body needs to release the tensions in the
got it.
moment.
Yeah. So I like that. So to kind of deal with the pain or those emotions, you got to let it out, right? Because that's what I was going to ask you. Is like, what are some practical things that, obviously always is always good to get help depending on what you're going through. Nevertheless, if I wanted to do something right now, like just using that example, I just lost my job. I don't know how I'm going to pay my bills. That's
Mm.
that emotion that I'm stuck. So what would be something that I can probably do to start changing and seeing things from a different perspective and letting those thoughts out and that emotion?
Yeah. If you're doing sports, go walk in nature, you know, just and be there. If you and cry, let all the things come out, the pain come out, cry, and meditate. Meditation is something very important to me.
Mm,
Meditate. You know, look what kind of meditation. I'm doing a lot of meditation too with people, healing meditation, and look what kind of meditation resonates with you, you know, and meditate and just be aware. Okay, if you need the time just to feel all the emotions, embrace it, but don't stay stuck in it,
mm,
and know that there are always opportunities,
yeah,
but you have to take action on it.
got it. Yeah,
You
I love
need
that.
to take action, because if we don't take, we can be very spiritual. I'm busy with spirituality, it's my life. But if I don't take action on it, just like this, if this is also action, right? Just to become visible and to share the value with the world. If we don't do it, nothing is going to change.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and I want to
Simple
add to that because a lot of
business.
people, yeah, yeah, I was gonna add to that because a lot of people say, well, if I think it and I want this, like that a law of attraction, which I believe in that for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Except
yeah,
it's not just, yeah, one thing you're gonna think about it, you have to visualize it, you have to maybe future pace, whatever that might be. All of that is great, and you should do that because it's good for the mind. Except too, you have to tie in with actions. And that a lot of times that's what people are saying is like, well, I'm thinking that I want to be, in a better relationship, but you're not going out to get to show up to be in a better relationship. Or I'm thinking I want to have a better job, but you're not sending applications. Or I'm
Yes,
thinking that I want to have more money, except you're not doing anything to get more money, right? Or ideas. So you got to take the actions too, for sure.
you have to take the action step, but first it also always start with the state you're in with the body. And Tony Robbins is a perfect example of it, right?
Yeah.
I can remember how many hours we have been jumping, during the trainings just to change the state
Yeah,
state of
right,
mind.
right. Exactly. State of mind. Change that
Yeah,
for sure.
state of
Yeah.
mind is very important, and then the emotions change, and then you will feel better and take and be willing to serve yourself by taking the actions, because you're not serving anybody else in the first place, you're serving yourself first.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah,
you
no, for
serve
sure.
yourself first, then you can serve the world better.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Jane, you given us a lot of great golden nuggets. So I'm gonna see if I can get one more out of you. My last question for you is, if for the people that are watching us and listening to us, if
Mhm.
they are going through any challenge, whatever challenge that might be, what is one thing that they can start doing right now to start overcoming that challenge?
Do breathing.
Mm,
Breathing, and if you really want, I'm willing to help for 30 minutes.
okay.
So they can always connect with me for 30 minutes, whether they want to continue or not, It
Yeah.
is because it is so important to know that challenges, they are there. They are there, and there is always help. So people can reach out to me for 30 minutes free coaching or
Hmm.
free talk, and do a lot of breathing and change the state of mind. Breathing is always important, because if you're breathing, then and you can connect with your body, you will feel better. You
Yeah.
really will feel better into your body, and if you're connected with your body, then your state is changing.
I love that. I love that. No, that's huge. And definitely, I myself done some breath work, and that's really good when you start looking at that, just like meditating. And at the end of the day, just build some habits, create something on a day
Yes,
to day basis that's
yeah,
going to really elevate your state of mind
yeah,
and your emotions.
yeah,
Definitely create a routine because it's huge. As we talked, Tony Robbins calls them rituals.
yeah,
You want to create some habits for sure. Yeah.
yeah. And know something that always helped me, just to know, even when in the most difficult challenges, I always think, okay, there's always, where it was a beginning, there's always an end. Always. And
Right.
that helped me, just to go through it and
Yeah.
to take it step by step. There is always an end to everything.
Yep, yep, for sure. Yeah. No, Jane, thank you again for definitely giving us a lot of golden nuggets, and I'm super happy to have you here on the show. Anything else that you want to share before I let you go?
Just know that you are so worth it to love and to be happy and joyous in life.
I
And the
love
only
that.
person that can help, that can make yourself happy, is you.
I love that. I love that. Wow, definitely, that's huge. And again, thank you again for being here on the show. For the rest of you guys, go ahead and do me a favor, share this message, because definitely somebody has to hear this message. And I will have all of Jane's information so you can contact her, take advantage of that discovery call in, or reading with her. Go ahead and do that. And nevertheless, I'll see you guys at the next episode of You Can Overcome Anything podcast show. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, I'm Cesar Espino, real estate investor, business coach, and consultant, and author of the book, You Can Overcome Anything, Even When the World Says No. My number is 424-501-6046. In my book, I talk about making the necessary changes to shift your mind for prosperity and certainty. Pick up your copy at Amazon. I also love helping families with their real estate and can purchase your house fast and all cash. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. My number is 424-501-6046.
Thank you for having me today. I am so glad you've tuned into this podcast. You can find me at your favorite podcast platform where you can like, subscribe, comment, and share. And to learn more about myself, my services, you can find me at www.cesarrespino.com, or you can also find me at your social media. Thanks for joining me, and I am looking forward to having you at the next episode. And know you truly can overcome anything.